You know what I was going to do, Mr. Producer? I was going to come on the air, say I've really thought long and hard about Ron Paul, about his position on foreign policy, and I have been wrong all these years. The Islamo-Nazis hate us. He's right, because we've been going all over the world bombing people. We're warmongers. He's also right that it is in the great tradition of conservatism and republicanism to unilaterally disarm in the face of the Red Chinese. I know this to be true because I studied what Thomas Woods wrote, the putative professor from Ed's College. And he's also right that Abraham Lincoln was a hateful dictator and the Civil War was unnecessary, and we Republicans should stop celebrating him, and that Ronald Reagan was a failed president. So I've come around to the Ron Paul position, which I think is a very sober position. So I was going to come out today and endorse him. And now all of his a-holes are going on Amazon and trying to vote down Ameritopia with 1 star. They haven't read it. And here I was prepared to endorse Ron Paul. See what you did? You pissed me off. Now, if I really, really get pissed off, I would ask my audience to go on Amazon to find all Ron Paul's books and give him a 1 star. But I'm not that way. I'm not vindictive. I would never ask millions of you to go on Amazon, find Ron Paul's books, and give him 1 star. That would be unfair. And I don't play that way on this program. But I got to thinking around the debate. Don't worry, I'm not going to play the clips over and over and over again, but what a great debate, wasn't it? And you know who really stood out to me? Ron Paul. Not Newt Gingrich? No. Not Rick Santorum. We all know he's a big government concern. Ron Paul. Very, very compelling. I got to thinking, just because I don't use drugs, just because I don't want my kids to use drugs, just because people who use drugs heavily are a massive burden to their families, themselves, and society, what's wrong with legalizing drugs? Yes. Heroin, cocaine, crack, LSD. What is it any of my business? Selling on the corner? In fact, I think pilots should be required to smoke crack before they fly their planes. I think bus drivers should be required to have a few toots. I don't mean the toots on the horn, you know what I mean. Before they drive Nirvana's a beautiful thing. Oh, yes. And by the way, I agree with Ron Paul, one of his favorite professors, not Professor Irwin Curry, but close. No, Professor Thomas DiLorenzo, a.k.a. Thomas the Bozo, who wrote a magnificent book on how Abraham Lincoln was a great dictator. And he and the others despise Alexander Hamilton because he was involved in a conspiracy to impose the Constitution on the nation. What we really need to do is go back to the Articles of Confederation. I thought all this through last night, and I was going to come on the program today and endorse Ron Paul for president. And then you a-holes who support him pissed me off. Now let me respond to some of the brilliant comments from these constitutionalists who support Ron Paul on the various blogs. Mark is a Zionist, Israel first, America hater. I don't even know what all that means, to be perfectly honest with you. But I bet you do. And this is the argument pretty much that we get all the time. Isn't it, Mr. Producer? Massive numbers of emails into this program. Massive numbers of calls that have to be screened out. The most vile, hateful, disgusting comments. But I saw the light. Despite all of that, I was prepared to come on the program today and endorse Ron Paul. Because he's the true constitutionalist. Only he knows what's in the Constitution. And he knows it because of his training. What is he, an eye doctor? I think he was an eye doctor. Oh, is he a baby doctor? You're right, he was a baby doctor. Same thing almost. Anyway, baby doctor. And who knew? He went to medical school and became an expert at delivering babies and the Constitution. And nobody else knows anything about the Constitution unless you agree with him. That's right. Abraham Lincoln sucked. Ronald Reagan sucked. William F. Buckley sucked. Oh, yes. Milton Friedman sucked. Antonin Scalia doesn't know what he's talking about. Thomas doesn't know a damn thing. Alito, but Ron Paul knows. And, of course, he's not a Zionist Israel firster either. No. So I got to thinking, yes, we're going around the world bombing everybody, we being warmongers. I could just see this paradise that Ron Paul has for us all. Drugs everywhere, prostitution everywhere, no more provoking the Islamo-Nazis, open borders. Notice he doesn't favor a physical. All you folks out there who are having a problem with illegal aliens, really, he's not. He doesn't want physical barriers to the movement of people because people have a right to access different countries just like they have a right to access products. Oh, yes. Oh, and all those newsletters he wrote, I was prepared to ignore all the racist crap and anti-Semitic crap in those newsletters where he became a multimillionaire but never read them, never edited them. I was prepared to believe the man never read his own newsletters, never edited his newsletters, that he didn't even know he had newsletters. That's right, that the Tooth Fairy just delivered him $1 million a year in newsletters. I was prepared to believe all of that. And then you a-holes pissed me off today. You RuPaul supporters pissed me off today. You went on to Amazon and did something I would never, ever tell my audience to do. I would never tell millions of my supporters to go on Amazon, find Ron Paul's books, and give them 1 star. No. So you blew it. So if I were voting today, I'd vote for Rick Santorum. And here I was prepared. And not only that, I went out and bought some really nice-looking brown shirts. And I don't even wear brown.